At Dream Team, we've been observing how work has been quietly breaking for a long time. All of these inefficiencies and quiet problems lying just below the surface, and people accepting it because it's just how it's always been. They keep stacking up, making it slower and slower and slower to build. We're entering our third decade of SaaS, and we have so many data silos. SaaS is built for job titles and departments, but companies don't work that way. They work together across departments. We're also in our third decade of Agile, and it's gone from core principles to countless frameworks needing certifications. Even one of the original Agile Manifesto authors thinks we've jumped the shark here. Then we have the rise of OKRs to try to fix alignment. But you need to take a course on OKRs to use them correctly, and if you've ever been in an OKR meeting, you just end up debating the language, not the actual intent of the OKR. But the problems aren't theoretical, they show up in our companies every day. How many staff meetings have you been in talking about waste in the system and everything feeling slow, or alignment problems and building the wrong things or the wrong way? The overhead of project management, or surprises in delivery and problems not being surfaced in time, or just tribal knowledge slowing people down little bit by little bit. We get into this loop of misalignment at scale, causing duplication or building the wrong thing. We try to combat it with this more structured process leading to calendars that look like this, and things just grind to a halt. And then we think the answer is to hire a bunch more people who do the work about work, which further exacerbates the communication problem, and then repeat. And then we have this whole post-pandemic world changing the way we're all working. Should we be hybrid or distributed? But we don't know how to communicate and collaborate effectively if we're not in the office together. Slack fatigue, Zoom fatigue, even more meetings to stay in sync, not only killing our productivity, but literally killing us. We think it's high time to get back to the basics. The problem isn't with the tools of work or how a company sets its strategy or which goal process they use. It's how these things come together, how a company communicates what it's doing and how it's going. When you get this right, it is absolute magic. When it's off, it is a slow death. This is why we built KATA, to be the central hub of progress for everyone in your product and engineering org, visible to your whole company, to help builders communicate more effectively and asynchronously, meaning less meetings and more time to build, and clearer priorities so there's less waste and more focus, and to provide that clear visibility for everyone in the company so you get alignment at scale and can just go faster. Let's start with goals, the manifestation of your strategy. Normally these live locked away in a spreadsheet few people can access or a tool that nobody opens. But what if they were right next to the actual work achieving them? And flexible enough to work with any methodology, remember it's back to the basics. So now when people want to see why projects matter, the bigger picture, the map is right there. And then when you want to see what's being done on a priority, it's really easy to drill in. And then what if all of your projects had a home that told you everything about them? Not just what they were about and who was working on them, but what are the milestones and what progress is being made and how much effort is going on here? And you could get everything from GitHub pull requests to Figma design docs to the marketing deck for it in one easy to reference place, a literal super tool for project teams. You're not only killing tribal knowledge because you have this self-documenting home, but you get a unified single pane of glass view into the progress being made. It creates that visibility your organization is yearning for across departments because it's capturing how teams are actually working together. And then what if that same project container made it easy to keep track of all of the context and check-ins, but also the demos and key decisions to show the progress being made? You'd help your teams move faster with this shared knowledge and async fast decision making. Less people are blocked and there's less wheel spinning. Time zone issues are minimized because we're communicating through this central hub. And what if you didn't have to ask your team to change how they work because all of this was designed to keep them in flow in their tools? They could post key decisions from the docs or Slack channels that they happen in and get back to that exact spot for context. They could post demos right from the pull requests that built them. It's why project wikis and Notion pages don't work. They're an afterthought. But with KATA, we put this right into your team's existing flow because we think change management are dirty words. We're not trying to change how people work. We're trying to supercharge the way you're already working. And then what if you could keep track of the things that don't live in tools today? Things like action items and escalations, and they could live in context on the projects that they're for. You could model dependencies across projects so you can more effectively spot bottlenecks and have very flexible views into work going on so you can see the work in progress and make sure it's the right amount on the right priorities. This is what KATA is all about. Let's get back to the basic form of how we do work. We don't care what process, Agile or Scrum or OKRs or whatever you use or what tools you use. Let each team work in the way that works best for them. Just optimize the protocol and how your team communicates and works with each other and how they make decisions. This is what the central hub of progress does for your organization. It gives you complete visibility and alignment so your entire company can move with breakneck speed.